Hey patrons, it is Queen Auset-Heru, and thank you for being here today. Today we're going to do another edition of The Witch Trials. So hold on to your hats because we're going to finish up this is the second movie that has come out in a 5-part series. So we're going to finish the second movie. I'm talking about the Fantastic Beasts not trilogy. It's I don't know what they call five, a five-G, whatever, a cinco. It's 5 of them. So it's going to be 5 movies, and we've only had 2 so far. So the last time I did Fantastic Beasts, I did the first movie. So today I'm going to discuss and put on trial the second movie. This one is titled The Crimes of Grindelwald. And it's set in New York in 1927. So the first thing I'm going to do is give you a little bit of a summary about what happened in this movie, for those of you who didn't see it. And then I'm going to discuss the vices and the virtues of the movie. And then I'm going to grade the movie. So first and foremost, let me tell you what happened. Now, in the last one, if you want to know what happened in the last movie, go watch my other witch trial. I don't know what number it is, but it says Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. That one is the movie that came out first. Okay, so for this part 2, basically it left off where part 1 ended. We find out that Credence the Obscurus did not die in the explosion in the first part. So in this one, it starts off like that. It starts off with Newt Scamander. He's back. He's with his brother, and Lita Lestrange is in it as well. So he's back, and basically they want Newt to find the Obscurus. They want Newt to go find Credence. Everybody does. The Ministry of Magic, Dumbledore. Dumbledore is in this one. For anybody who saw the original Harry Potter movies, Dumbledore is in this movie, part 2. He's in part 2. So everybody wants Newt to go find the Obscurus. Dumbledore wants him to protect him and hopefully help him. The Ministry of Magic wants him to kill him. And Newt refuses the ministry, but says okay to Dumbledore that he will go to Paris, which is where Credence is believed to have gone looking for his mother. So that's the beginning of the film. We see him, Newt, and we see all the, they re-list all the old characters, basically. Queenie, Tina, Jacob. I love Jacob. And basically what ends up happening is that he goes to find Credence. Everybody else goes to find Credence. And Grindelwald, who is the villain, is looking for Credence as well. Everybody's looking for Credence. Because Credence is so powerful, and Obscurus is the most powerful witch or wizard basically in all of Wizarding World. So the villain wants to use him to kill Albus Dumbledore. He cannot fight Dumbledore. Dumbledore and Grindelwald used to be lovers, okay? And they did a blood pact not to fight each other. So that he cannot, literally, can, magically speaking, cannot fight him. So he wants to use Credence to destroy Dumbledore, because Dumbledore is the only thing that stands between him taking over the Wizarding World, which is his ultimate goal. He wants to take over the Wizarding World and enslave all people who are not a witch or a wizard. So all the muggles, all the no-magies, as they call them. They want, he wants to, basically enslave and kill all of them and just let the world be full of witches and wizards that he controls, of course. Now, this plan isn't a good one, because there's no way in hell you're going to be able to control all those witches and wizards if this even did happen. But whatever. He has this idea because his ego is that big, and he is the second most powerful wizard in the Wizarding World. Albus Dumbledore is his only equal. So basically, that's why he's trying to get control of Credence. So throughout the movie, you see so much going on because there's so many characters. But the whole plot is all revolving around Credence. Lita Lestrange, I mentioned at the beginning of this, is in this movie as well. And she is really an interesting character because she was Newt's best friend when they went to school, to Hogwarts. And now she's engaged to his older brother. And his older brother is like the war hero, you know? And he's like the one that everybody loves. And Lita is engaged to him, but still in love with Newt. And Newt is still in love with her. But I don't know, for some reason, she was estranged from Newt. You know, they went their separate ways. Newt was, tracking down magical beasts. And she went another way and came across his brother, and they're now engaged. So you see her story. Her story's unfolding in the movie simultaneously because it crosses Credence's story. And it crosses Credence's story because they all assume that Credence is her little brother. Because she has this, long lost brother. And they think it's Credence. But the truth is that Lita switched the children. There was her brother and there was another baby. They were on a ship. And she switched the two babies because she was sick of her brother crying. Now, how many big sisters get sick of listening to their sibling cry? She decides to switch them for the quiet baby, and then the ship starts to sink. So in the commotion, she never gets her real brother back. They have the other child. This woman thinks that that's her child, but it's not her child. And then the baby falls into the sea and drowns. So her real little brother is at the bottom of the ocean, and she brings back this baby that's not actually her real little brother. So this poor woman thinks her baby died, and in reality, this other family has her baby. Because Lita, as an 8-year-old child, switched the babies. So as you can see, there's a lot going on. It's very convoluted. And then we come to the end of the tale. And of course, there's love stories all between Jacob and Queenie, and Newt's in love with Tina, and all this kind of wacky stuff going on. And by the end of the movie, the villain has tried to blow up Paris. He tried to kill everybody. And they managed to, of course, escape. And he escapes as well. So part 3 can happen, right? And basically that was the end of the movie. So I'm now going to tell you the vices of the movie. This movie has so many vices that after a certain point, I stopped writing them down because it was so many of them and they started to repeat over and over again. So I just wrote them down and left it in there to tell you one time the vice, and then we're going to add them all up. So remember, my vices are things that witches and wizards can't really do. They might be able to do something kind of close, but at this intensity, nothing happening. So the first vice is that Grindlewald, they put a force field around his body, an actual electronic force field done with magic. We can put a circle around the person, and we can put protection energy around the person. And if you were looking at it energetically, it might look like a bubble, if the person who did it is actually skilled. But it's not going to be the kind where, in this case, a fly got zapped by going into the bubble. That's not going to happen with a real protection circle. Energy will have a hard time getting through the circle, but flies will get through. Then they had him levitating. They levitated him up and carried him up the steps because Grindelwald was in custody. So they had him with handcuffs behind his back, all dramatic. The first opening scene is amazing. I love the drama. His arms are behind his back, or I don't think that's the opening scene, but that's the opening scene with Grindelwald. His arms are behind his back, and I just love it so much because he's levitated and he looks like he's insane, and they have him floating up the steps. We cannot do something like that. They just waved their wand and he floated up the steps. And I was like, if I could do that, man, that would make everything in life so much easier. Also, they had a lot. This movie is called Fantastic Beasts. And they have a lot of these flying magical creatures and non-flying magical creatures. Like the Niffler behind me, that's from Fantastic Beasts. That little guy holding a coin in his hand, he's a Niffler. And Nifflers are in Fantastic Beasts. Now, these kind of magical creatures, the flying and the non-flying ones, are not real. These creatures are all from somebody's imagination. They're adorable though. That's why I love the Niffler, because they're so cute. They have the cutest little creatures, but these creatures are nowhere near. I've never seen nothing like this. Not even in Australia will you catch these weird looking creatures. So these are all made up, every last one of them. So another vice. The next vice is that they do something called apparating, which is basically teleporting. They teleport around. You know, they can teleport from room to room, block to block, building to building. And I'm like, we can't teleport? Do you know how much I would get done if I could fly or teleport? Oh my goodness. That is such fiction. That's like X-Men or something. That's more of a superhero than a witch or a wizard. Transfiguration, another vice. They can turn something into something else. So turning a water bottle into a bird, or they could turn a penny into a car. You know, they can turn anything into something else. This is again more X-Men. I'm thinking this is more of a superhero power, because as a witch we can't turn things into other things. Turn a cat into a lion. You know, we cannot do that. I wish we could. This movie has so much imagination. J.K. Rowling and the people that wrote this movie with her and the Harry Potter series, they have a lot of imagination, and it's really cool. And if witches could do this stuff, our lives would be a lot easier. Trust me. More flight. So now they're flying around on brooms. They're flying around on creatures. You know, they're just flying around. And I'm like, oh, I wish I could fly. Next one. Owl delivery. They have trained all the owls in the Harry Potter world and the Fantastic Beasts world. They've trained all the owls to deliver packages and letters. So instead of your mail coming to your front door with the mailman, it comes with an owl, but only in the wizarding world. In the Muggle world, or the world that has no magic, they do use regular post office. But in the wizarding world, they have owls, and the owls deliver everything. And if you're in a building, the owls deliver your interdepartmental memos as well. So owl delivery is really cool, but doesn't really happen. And it probably would smell awful, especially in the building, because they probably would be going to the bathroom everywhere. They had a magical vacuum cleaner. The vacuum cleaner basically, it was kind of like that robot one that you see on TV, and it vacuums the floor by itself. So I guess at this point, witches and wizards can buy one of those on Amazon or something. But theirs was a regular old vacuum cleaner, and it was sweeping and vacuuming and mopping and doing everything on its own. No batteries, nothing. You know, they just enchanted it and it just cleaned the hallway. So, yeah, I was like, I wish some of these things I really wish. There is no Ministry of Magic. They have a Ministry of Magic in all of the Harry Potter series. And this is somebody who is like the president of the witches, you know? Sometimes it's a man, sometimes it's a woman. And this is the president of the witches, basically. And they gather us together and send us memos and things like that. We nowhere near that organized as a whole, because witches and wizards come from many different traditions. Magic workers in general come from all kinds of different cultures. So none of us really, except for people who were in the same coven, or people who were in the same prayer circle, or whatever they want to call it, only those people are really connected like that. The rest of us are not connected in any kind of way. There is no leader of the witches and wizards. There's no killing curse. They have a curse that they can do with their wand that kills you instantly. Thank God we don't have this. This is not true at all. And I was watching and I was looking like, oh my goodness. And I see this all the time in Harry Potter. Lots of people do this killing curse. But it really disturbed me because in this movie, they killed a baby. And I was like, oh my God, you killed a baby with the killing curse? Like, oh, these villains are awful. Voldemort tried to kill Harry too when he was a baby. So these villains are awful. All right. So there is no killing curse. There is no curse that we can just kill you instantly with a wand. Thank goodness. They're able to create fog and control the weather with their wand. They can make it rain or anything. And there is weather magic. There are witches who are proficient in doing weather magic. And a lot of times it does work, but it's not instant. It's not like you can just take your wand and the fog will start coming in, you know. I've seen witches when there was hurricanes come together to try to push the hurricane, you know, energetically, you know, prey on the hurricane, not hitting their area, not hitting their town. And sometimes, a lot of times it worked. So I'm like, okay, you know, there's a lot of little coincidences. I ain't even gonna call them coincidences because I don't believe in coincidences, but there's a lot of little synchronicities is the word I'm thinking of. With witches and the weather, making it rain when it's been droughting, things like that. When is droughting even a word? Making it rain when there has been a drought. Put it like that. Also, they had a magical circus. We don't have a magical circus. I wish we did because it was so cool. They had all these magical creatures and one of them could turn into, she was a woman and she could turn into a snake, literally. They had cool stuff at their circus, man. Their circus was better than any circus I've ever seen. And it was just all kinds of like magical things going on that just don't happen at a real circus. So the magical circus is totally fake. Humans turning into animals, that's where I saw that at. Nagini is a woman who turns into a snake. We cannot do that. I wish I could turn into an animal. That would be kind of cool, actually. Maybe I could turn into a bird and fly wherever I want to go. They use their wands to pack everything up, like I talked about before, using their wands to move things around. And I was like, I wish I could do that. Traveling by portkey. A portkey is any kind of object and you place it on the ground and you use it to get from country to country. Remember I said they can fly and they can levitate and they can teleport. They can only go so far. So if they want to go a far distance, they have to fly there on an animal, you know, one of the magical creatures, or they have to use a portkey. So basically it's any kind of, you know, bucket or old shoe. They usually use something that humans won't notice and may not clean up. And then they can leave it wherever it is and they can use this key as kind of like a portal. So they leave it there and they step into the portal and they're in another country, basically, or in another faraway place is how it works. So that would be cool if I could create a portal on my floor and, you know, end up in the States and create another portal and be in Colombia, be in Africa and zip around the world. That would be cool. But no, we don't do portkeys either. I wish we did. Walking through walls. Some of the witches and wizards were like walking through doors, walking through walls. And I was just like, unless that baby is paper, is no way you're walking straight through a wall. Not happening. They had a magic mirror. It's called the Mirror of Auset. I love this mirror. I would love I want one of these so bad. I've seen them and I'm going to get one day when I come across it. And basically the Mirror of Auset is a magic mirror and we don't do magic mirrors. You could enchant a mirror and it might give you some results, but not like this mirror. This mirror, when you look into it, you see your greatest desires. So whatever is your greatest desire, if it's fame, if it's glory, if it's your family around you, if it's marriage, whatever is your greatest desire, when you look in the Mirror of Auset, and Auset is desire backwards, spelled backwards. When you look into the Mirror of Auset, you see your greatest desires. So basically that would be really cool. might be kind of sad, but that would be kind of cool. Like if you lost a loved one, you can look in the mirror and potentially see them whenever you wanted to. That's how Harry Potter used to use it. But also Dumbledore used to look into it and see him when he was with Grindelwald. So it can also be kind of sad too. His greatest desire was that they had never fought and were still in love. Or I don't know if Grindelwald really loved Dumbledore, because according to J.K. Rowling, Dumbledore was in love with him. It was a sexual relationship, but only Dumbledore was in love. Grindelwald was just basically using him because he was a powerful wizard. So it's kind of sad. They have the magic suitcase again. Newt Scamander still has his magic suitcase. And in this magic suitcase, he keeps his entire world. His apartment, his workstation. I mean, everything is in this magic suitcase. So he can open it up and his creatures are in it. He can go down the steps into the suitcase. And we do not have a magic suitcase. I wish we did. Immortality. Nicholas Flamel is introduced in this movie, and Nicholas Flamel was also talked about in the Harry Potter series, but he's an immortal. He has figured out the Philosopher's Stone and how to keep himself and his wife immortal. So in the wizarding world, there are these immortals. In real life, there are no such thing. No such thing. You're not going to get any immortals. Also, Polyjuice Potion. Polyjuice Potion is a potion that you can take to make you look like somebody else. So let's say you want to sneak into the White House, okay? You could take Polyjuice Potion let's say Donald Trump, and walk right into the White House, walk right into anywhere, probably, anywhere in America almost. So like you could take Polyjuice Potion and pretend to be anyone. You'll look just like them. Only thing is you have to have a hair of theirs to put into the potion. So basically you can pretend to be anybody. You'll look just like them. You'll grow to their height. Your body will go to their size. You'll look just like them. And that would be so cool, but it's not real. And the last vice is making a magic circle or fire with magic. Yeah, Grindelwald set Paris on fire, basically. And he was at this catacomb, and with magic, his magic wand, he made this magic fire come up. And it was all around him, and it destroyed anybody who was an enemy that tried to walk through it. And if you were one of his, supporters, you could walk through the fire. And then when he was ready to go, the fire just spread, and it was going to just destroy Paris, the whole city. And the good witches and wizards, Newt Scamander, his brother, Nicholas Flamel, all the ones that, we're used to, Tina, they all fought the fire and got it out magically, of course, before it destroyed Paris. You cannot create a magic fire with your wand and destroy whole city blocks. It's not going to happen. It even turned, its energy turned into a dragon and flew away or something. And I was watching that's cool. Nice special effects, man, but nah. So this movie is almost all vices, as you can see. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 vices in this movie, okay? This movie is a good movie. I like this movie. This one and the one before it. I like them a lot. I love the action scenes. I love the special effects. This movie is really delightful. It's a movie I can watch over and over again. Even though I love the Niffler, so I love to see him get into a little trouble. Niffler steal things. So all throughout the movie, he's stealing things. He even steals the blood pact from Grindelwald. He ends up being the star of the movie because of that. But even though I love the movie, I love the special effects, there is no real witchcraft in this movie. This movie is all fiction, is all creativity, is all imagination, which I am all for, because I'm all for art. But this movie is just art. Okay, the first one and the second one is 100% art. I'm gonna tell you the couple things I saw that we really can do. We really do use wands. I have 3 wands and I use one of them all the time. Queenie did a love spell on Jacob. We really can do love spells. It probably wouldn't have affected him the way that Jacob's did. Jacob's love spell not only had him in love, but it had him kind of stupid. Like he would just kind of follow her and do whatever she wanted. And our love spells aren't like that. It will have the person enchanted, but not to the point where they can't even think for themselves. Jacob couldn't even eat it by himself. She was like feeding him. It was just like, what? What happened to Jacob? It just like took over him, you know? And our spells aren't that powerful. They're powerful enough to make somebody fall in love with you and maybe even stay with you, but not powerful enough to have them acting crazy and stupid. And the last one is that some of us can hear people's thoughts. Queenie can hear people's thoughts, and some of us can. So that was 3. 3 virtues. And some of us can hear people's thoughts. It depends. Some people more than others. Some people pick up on the energy from their thoughts, and some people can hear what they're thinking. More like telepathy kind of thing. But it's very rare. A lot of people can do it, or some people do it like energetically speaking, but it's very rare for it to be as loud and as exact as Queenie's ability is. But some people can do it, so I will count that one. So there's 3 virtues out of all of those vices, 21 vices. And so like I said, this movie gets a fat F as far as being, witchcraft accurate. Which you're looking for witchcraft accuracy, you're not going to find it here. If you want to see what witches really do, it's not here. It's not here. Just those 3 things are only 3 of the things that we can come close to. This movie is 100% creativity. That's why I love J.K. Rowling, because she has an amazing imagination. And not only does she have all this imagination going on, a lot of the stories teach a lesson. I'm not getting the lessons yet with this particular series. This is the prequel to Harry Potter. So I'm not really getting the lessons the same way I did in Harry Potter. Because in Harry Potter, there was always words of wisdom. There was always little sayings, We saw people's lives and how things played out. So maybe some of those life stories will teach me some lessons later from this series, maybe when the 5 movies are done. But as far as it being like the other ones, it's very different. I haven't gotten that level of learning from it as of yet. So it could be like that, but I just need to see all of them to see. But what I can tell you is that these movies, these 2, have no real witchcraft going on. It's just a bunch of great imagination, great cinematography, great special effects, cute costumes. Love the costumes. And like I said, I really love this movie, but I got to give it an F anyway because it's not accurate at all. So if you haven't had an opportunity to see these movies, I do suggest them. They're really cool, especially if you like Harry Potter even a little bit, you may enjoy this type of tale. Because it's not the same tale. It's not about children, even though there are a few kids in it. It's not really about children. It's very adult. It's very dark in nature as far as that's concerned. But it's still a really delightful tale. It's really good. And the Nifflers and the other creatures are really cute. So you do have that cuteness coming, that you got from the kids in Harry Potter. Now you get that cuteness from the creatures, So I do recommend you watching these movies, but just don't quote them. If you're talking to a real witch or a real person who practices any kind of craft or magic or anything, don't ask them if they can do transfiguration. Don't ask them if they can apparate. Do not ask them if they can teleport, because they're gonna look at you like you're crazy. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being my patrons. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will be back next week with yet another exciting edition of The Witch Trials. So enjoy your week and come back soon. Bye-bye.